So Bama wins the Iron Bowl 27-20 at Jordan-Hare. By the way, the spread for this game was only 5.5. It even dropped down to 4.5 at one point. Bama raced out to a 17-0 lead, and you were going, all right, like this actually is what we expected. Like Auburn has fired their coach. They've cycled through a million quarterbacks this year. Bama actually is very good. They came into the game with 2 losses. And by the way, that was my biggest thought on this game, is there was an insane amount of pressure on Kalen DeBoer and Alabama in this game. They came in with 2 losses. Obviously, the ugly Florida State loss to start the season, but then they barely lost at home to Oklahoma. They really outgained the Sooners by like 200 yards. It's just that Tate Sandell for OU, their kicker, was incredible, and their defense was incredible. Obviously, they had a touchdown in that game. I think it was a Bowen pick 6 for Bama. So, for Oklahoma to beat Bama. So, Bama did have a second loss, but that loss was by 2 against a great OU defense. But nonetheless, if they picked up a third loss, and again, obviously Auburn having a really, really bad season, then that would completely knock them out of the playoff. And it would be Kalen DeBoer, 2 years at Alabama, no playoff appearances, and that would be pressure cooker city. Like, seriously, today, if DeBoer had lost the Iron Bowl, we might be talking about him taking the Penn State job, just like leaving town and taking the Penn State job. That was a thought that was crossing the college football conversation universe over the weekend. It's like, dude, if Kalen DeBoer loses this Iron Bowl, he's going to need to get out of town quick, because the Bama fans definitely don't approve of that, and they definitely don't approve of not making the playoff. And there was a point. So Ashton Daniels, former Stanford QB, rallies Auburn back, right? And I need to look at Auburn's interim coach, because he did a really good job. I forget his name. He did a really good job. So they rally back to 17-13. They eventually tie it at 20, and you're going, oh, holy crap, dude. Auburn, like the War Eagle magic was there again. Bo Jack gets, the Heisman, his 40th anniversary of the Heisman. He gets honored at halftime. They're pulling out all the stops, the Eagles soaring around the stadium, and you're going like, oh my God. And by the way, my other big thought was like, I can't believe Ryan Williams isn't playing. He was dressed. He played a little bit, like very sparingly, as in like felt like he came in on like an occasional run play to throw a block. But Ryan Williams, the superstar sophomore wide receiver who has, battled concussion issues this year, I get it, and that's a reason he could have been out. But he was there dressed in uniform and playing. Like, he did not record a catch in this game. He was on the sideline in the biggest moments in their big drive in this game. Like, it didn't really, like, I watched the DeBoer presser. No one asked him about that. I watched the whole 20-minute presser. No one asked him. My guess would be it's that he's had concussion issues this season. But remember last year, he torched Georgia for, like, probably the best game we've ever seen from a true freshman wide receiver ever. And he, like, absolutely flamethrowered Georgia's secondary in that win with Jalen Milroe QB in that win over Georgia last year. Anyways, so Bama needed to run a couple times in this game. 3rd and 2, 4th and 2, and they chose not to. A lot of play action, like tried to get sneaky with it. Simpson had to scramble for a first down on one of the big plays. They eventually get down to inside the 10, more or less, tied at 20 with like 3 minutes left, and rather going for the field goal, which would have been the safe move to give them the lead. By the way, talk about a coaching decision where it's like, man, is my job on the line here? Like, what do I do? Like, I should just take the field goal, right, to take the lead? Because Auburn's offense, while they did have 20 points, it felt pretty lifeless. Like, it was kind of like scramble mode. Oh my God, how did that happen? 20 points. Not like a strong 20 points, right? And anyways, DeBoer decides to go for it on 4th down and short, and Simpson rolls out and has to fire a bullet. It's not like Horton was wide open. He has to fire kind of a bullet to the middle of the field, middle of the end zone, and he finds Isaiah Horton for his 3rd touchdown of the night. Massive night for him. Bernard and Horton, they still have some good players for sure. And then they use Hill and Miller at running back. Miller's been banged up, it feels like, all season. Hill's been their primary guy over the last couple of weeks, like at the running back spot. But it's so crazy seeing a Bama team, and I said this, it was like watching the Missouri game all over again, where it's like they are clutch, and that's DeBoer's big thing. You hear him say it in post-game and in immediate on-the-field interviews. Like, one of his biggest talking points and teaching points is, like, being the best in the big moments, because he decides to roll the dice and go for it on fourth down a lot. And I respect that, and he's clearly coached that into Bama. Like, Bama's a really good fourth down offense. It feels like every time they have a 4th and 2, they're probably getting it. And it's usually Simpson picking it up through the air. It's so crazy because Caden Proctor, who's like arguably the most nimble left tackle we've ever seen, he's like 6'7", 370, and the guy's catching touchdown passes, and he can run like he's practically a tight end, and he's legitimately like 370 pounds. Like, you know how big that is? Dude, 370. I'm not talking 270, which is also massive. 370. And he runs like a tight end. Like, he's crazy. But DeBoer rolls the dice, man, at the very end. Tied at 20, late, 4th down, kick a field goal, go ahead and probably smother Auburn's offense. Instead, he rolls the dice and goes for it. And he was asked about it after the game. Obviously said he's confident in both sides of the ball, whether they got it or if they hadn't got it. He'd be confident in the defense. And that's probably the most underrated part about Bama this year, Kane Womack, the DC, is Bama's defense, man. It's nails, dude. Deontay Lawson, Justin Jefferson, Sab, like, dude, they are nails on defense. Like, they're probably susceptible to like a big pass downfield, but good luck running it on them consistently. Good luck sustaining drives consistently. Their defense is really good. They're a weird team. Like, I would just describe this Bama team as a weird team. Like, they don't really like to run it. Like, it sometimes feels like they're not confident in their running game. Especially in short yardage, which is like the polar opposite of a Nick Saban coached Bama team. But Simpson makes clutch throws. Obviously, the play designs are very good. They have enough talent at receiver. I wouldn't say it's a bunch of first-rounders out there, but they have enough talent at receiver, and Simpson's good enough, and he's obviously a good leader, and DeBoer preaches be clutch in the biggest moments, and they usually are. But holy shit, man. The War Eagle magic was in full effect. I mean, a one-win Auburn team, one win in the SEC, a one-win SEC Auburn team had Bama on the ropes, and that almost sent shockwaves into the college football world to knock Bama out of the playoff. But instead, they clutch up. They win 27-20 on the road, and they are into the SEC championship game against Georgia, who they beat earlier this year, 24-21 in Athens. So it'll be a revenge game for Georgia. Kirby Smart's got a Bama problem. If you look at the record, he's kind of got a Bama problem. So we'll see how that goes. Bama and Georgia.